Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Sri Guru Samhita, the legend of the Supreme Guru, original in Marathi as Sri Guru Charitra by Sri Gangadhara Saraswati, composition in Sanskrit by His Holiness Sri Vasudevananda Saraswati, also known as Tembe Maharaj. This translation into English is provided by Dr. Narasimhaswamy Banavara. Chapter 33, The Greatness of the Rudraaksha and the Story of the Prostitute. Salutations to Lord Ganapati. Salutations to Lord Dattatreya. 1. The great disciple Namadharaka held the feet of Guru Siddha and saluted him. He folded his hands and with all humility and devotion addressed Guru Siddha. 2. Namadharaka said, O Lord, O Guru Siddha, you mentioned in the previous story that the couple Datta and Pativrata Sumati followed the Supreme Guru to his monastery. 3. What happened after the Supreme Guru reached the monastery? Please describe the rest of the story to me in detail. 4. Then Guru Siddha said, My child, listen. The couple, Datta and Sumati, came to see the Supreme Guru early the next morning. 5. They folded their hands and saluted the Supreme Guru. Then Sumati humbly said, O Lord, yesterday when I was lamenting and weeping, a divine ascetic came and advised me in several ways about Dharma. 6. He also gave me 4 Rudraaksha beads and told me to tie 2 beads to my husband's ear and 2 beads around his neck and then cremate the dead body according to procedure. 7. He also told me at that time some Brahmin devotee shall perform the Rudrabhisheka of the Padukas of the Supreme Guru accompanied by mantras of the Rudra Sukta. Go, bring the holy Abhisheka water. 8. Take that holy water and sprinkle it all over your husband's body. Then go and obtain darshan of the Supreme Guru. 9. Saying this, he left the spot. O Lord, here are the 4 Rudraaksha beads that he gave me. I had tied 2 beads to the corpse's ears and 2 around its neck. 10. Hearing her words, the Supreme Guru smiled and said, My child, it was I who came there in the guise of an ascetic and who gave you the Rudraaksha beads, seeing your devotion. 11. The greatness of the Rudraaksha is extraordinary, unique, and unsurpassed. You have immense devotion, and so I shall describe the legend to you. Pay attention and listen. 12. If a person wears a Rudraaksha with respect and devotion, or wears it without any devotion at all, he does not incur any sins. Even if he is a good person or a bad person, he who wears the Rudraaksha does not incur any sins. 13. O good lady, one obtains countless merits by wearing the Rudraaksha beads. Even the Vedas and the other sacred scriptures state that there is no merit equal to that obtaining by wearing the Rudraaksha. 14. Whoever wears a rosary made of 1000 good Rudraaksha beads attain the very form of Rudra, that is another name for Lord Shiva. Even the gods shall worship such a person. 15. If one cannot obtain 1000 Rudraaksha beads, then he should wear 16 Rudraaksha beads on each arm, 1 bead on his lock of hair on his head, and 24 Rudraaksha beads on his wrists. 16. He should wear 32 Rudraaksha beads around his neck, 40 beads around his head, and 6 Rudraaksha beads in each of his ears. 17. If he wears 1 Rudraaksha bead on each of his eyes, and a rosary of 108 beads on his chest with devotion, he is considered equal to the son of Rudra himself. 18. If a person gets a Rudraaksha beads strung in a rosary along with corals, crystal, gold, silver, Vaidurya and pearls, then such a rosary is excellent among all rosaries. Note, Vaidurya is cat's eye, a precious gem. 19. Such Rudraaksha beads are extremely meritorious. One should strive to wear such Rudraaksha beads. Otherwise, one can wear those Rudraaksha beads that he can find in a particular season. 20. Sins do not touch a person who wears the Rudraaksha rosary around his neck. Salvation is guaranteed for this person as well. He will attain the eternal abode of Lord Shiva without fail. 21. If a person wears a Rudraaksha rosary around his neck and performs meditation, then his meditation will receive countless merits. Pay attention and listen. 22. Whoever does not wear a Rudraaksha rosary leads a wasted life. If a person does not wear the Tipundra Bhasma on his forehead, his life is a waste. 23. If a person ties the Rudraaksha beads to his head or ears and takes a bath, he will obtain the same merits as those obtained by a bath in the holy Ganga. 24. Whoever performs Abhisheka, that is ritual bathing, for a Rudraaksha bead while chanting the mantras of Rudra Sukta shall definitely obtain the same merits as one obtains by performing the worship of the divine Shivalinga. 25. A Rudraaksha bead can have one face, 5 faces, 11 faces or 14 faces. A person can wear one of these beads or any other Rudraaksha beads. By wearing these Rudraaksha beads, one is relieved of all kinds of diseases. 26. A person should affectionately wear a good Rudraaksha bead any time he obtains it. By doing this, he shall obtain all the 4 Purushastras, that is, pursuits of life. 27. I shall narrate a story which is related to this concept. This story shall vanquish all sins of mankind. Pay attention and listen. Note that the Rudraaksha rosary definitely wards away all sins, miseries, and afflictions. 28. Previously in the kingdom of Kashmir, there was a king by the name of Bhadrasena. He was a very famous minister, but he had a very famous minister by the name of Sudharma. 29. The king Bhadrasena's son and the minister Sudharma's son were both named Taraka. Both were very learned and good-natured boys. They were very close friends as well. 30. Both the boys were of the same age. They used to stay together constantly. They would always play together and study together. 31. They would always affectionately eat together and sleep together. They would never be apart even for a moment. Both these learned and scholarly boys were ardent devotees and worshippers of Lord Shiva. 32. The boys constantly wore Rudraaksha rosaries all over their bodies. They would always wear the Tripundra Bhasma on their bodies. 33. They considered ornaments studded with gold and divine gems equal to iron or other metals. They would wear no other ornaments but the Rudraaksha rosaries. 34. If their parents or relatives gave them expensive jewels, the boys would discard them, considering them as cheap metal goods or stones. 35. Once the great, bright and venerable Maharshi Parashara, who looked like the very form and manifestation of Lord Brahma, came to King Bhadrasena's place. 36. King Bhadrasena saw the sage coming, folded his hands and got ready to receive him. When the sage arrived, the king saluted him and worshipped him duly. With great devotion, the king offered him Padya, Arghya and other forms of worship. 37. The king seated Maharshi Parashara on the golden throne and praised the sage with several chants and hymns. With tears of joy overflowing his eyes, he prostrated himself before the sage. 38. King Bhadrasena folded his hands and humbly said to the sage, O great sage, both of these boys have been affected by some sort of spirit. What is the reason for this? Please tell me. 39. If we give them expensive ornaments studded with gems and gold, the boys refuse to wear them. If we give them golden chains and necklaces, they say that the Rudraaksha rosaries are sufficient for them. 40. O great one, what sort of a mentality is this? They do not listen to a word I say. The boys might at least listen to your wisdom-filled words. 41. You are cognizant of the past, present and future. You are omniscient. You know everything that is there to know in this universe. What is this mentality of the boys that I don't understand? Please have mercy on me and tell me. 42. Hearing the king's request, Maharshi Parashara smiled and said, O king, the story of these boys is indeed strange. Listen to my words. 43. The story of both your sons and the minister's sons evokes surprise. I shall describe to you their stories from their past life. I shall tell you why they are like this now. Listen. 44. Previously in a city named Nandigrama, there lived a prostitute. She was liked by one and all. She was bright, beautiful and gracious like the full moon. 45. She had a magnificent and comfortable golden seat upon which she used to sit. The seat had a splendid and grandiose white umbrella that shone like the full moon. 46. The prostitute's house was filled with gold everywhere. Even her slippers were made of gold. She had numerous golden ornaments with majestic and striking designs. 47. Her sleeping cot was studded with divine and precious gems. Each and every ornament she wore was of pure silk and was impressive. O king, this prostitute owned several cows, buffaloes, horses, maids and male servants. 48. This prostitute was very beautiful. She was bright and gracious like the full moon. She was brimming with youth, fully adorned with all sorts of ornaments and fine silk. She looked like Rati, the wife and lover of Manmata, the god of love. 49. Her house was filled with exquisite saffron, musk fragrance, sandalwood paste, and fragrant flowers, and with all sorts of materials and equipment required for sexual pleasures. Her fame had spread far and wide. 50. She had copious amounts of money and plentiful grains in her house. Her money in gold coins had crossed a crore, that is 10 million. The prostitute was extremely famous in the entire city. 51. At the same time, she was always contented, pious, and virtuous. She followed and practiced dharma. She was righteous and good natured. She used to donate food, clothes, and other items to Brahmins and satisfy them. 52. There was a gem-studded high dance platform in her house, where the prostitute, completely bedecked in silk, gold, and gems, would dance every day. 53. Her friends would accompany the prostitute in her majestic and beautiful dances every day. She had tied a rooster and a monkey to the dance platform. 54. The prostitute had decorated both the rooster and the monkey with Rudraaksha rosaries. The Rudraaksha shone brilliantly atop the rooster's head. 55. Both the rooster and the monkey had been trained in the art of dance to accompany the prostitute in her dances. One day, a strange incident occurred. Listen carefully. 56. A wealthy man by the name of Shivavrati came to the prostitute's home. He was wearing the Rudraaksha rosary. He was a peaceful man. He was wearing the holy bhasma on his forehead. He was a Vaishya man, a merchant by profession. 57. The Vaishya was wearing on his wrist a gem-studded bracelet which shone brilliantly like the sun. In his hand, he had a precious gem-studded, resplendent Shivalinga, and that was radiating immense glow and brilliance. 58. Seeing the wealthy man, the prostitute saluted him with joy and rapture. She seated him on the dance platform and served him dutifully. 59. The prostitute was instantly attracted to the gem-studded bracelet and the gem-studded Shivalinga that the wealthy man possessed. She was fascinated seeing the radiance and intense brilliance. 60. Enchanted by the two items, the prostitute called her friend and said to her, "O friend, go tell the wealthy man the following. The brilliant bracelet and the magnificent Shivalinga have enthralled me very much. I want the two items at any cost." 61. "O friend, go ask the Vaishya man if he is willing to sell me the two items, or will he give them to me in return for my sexual favors. If he is willing to do so, I shall become a Pativrata woman for him for 3 complete days. 62. If he is willing to sell me the two items, I shall pay 1 lakh gold coins for them. Go ask him these questions and bring me his opinion at once." 63. The prostitute's friend went to the Vaishya man and asked him the same, to which he laughed and replied that he would give the divine-looking bracelet and the resplendent Shivalinga only in return for sexual favors. 64. He said, "Your primary and famous prostitute should conduct herself as a Pativrata woman for me for 3 complete days. She should fulfill all her duties according to the Pativrata Dharma and should not flinch from it even for a second." 65. The prostitute agreed to the condition. Then the Vaishya man asked the prostitute again, "O prostitute, prostitution is your profession. How can one say that there is truth in your words?" 66. What is your dharma? That is duty or codes of conduct. What is your karma? That is prescribed set of actions and rituals. What is the happiness and contentment in your terminology? What is funny or a pastime for you, O prostitute? How can anyone believe words of dharma from an inconsistent and libertine person like you? 67. The whole world knows the dharma of your family. You are only interested in prostitution. The moment you see a handsome man, your mind is drawn to that man. Changing your mind and your tastes are your inherent characteristics. 68. Hearing the words of the Vaishya man, the main prostitute said, "I shall conduct myself as a family woman and follow the prescribed codes of conduct for a Pativrata woman for 3 complete days." 69. Give me what I want. I shall romance you and please you so that you are absolutely satisfied. During sexual plays and sexual intercourses, I shall serve you completely with my body, mind, and wealth. 70. The Vaishya man said, "If you are really speaking the truth here, you have to conduct yourself as a family woman and perform your actions as a Pativrata for 3 complete days. You have to swear that you will conduct yourself so." 71. Then the prostitute placed her hand on the divine Shivalinga and said, "I swear upon this divine Shivalinga and upon the sun and the moon that I will conduct myself as your wife and as a Pativrata woman for 3 days." The Vaishya accepted her as his wife for 3 days. 72. According to his words and her wishes, the Vaishya man took her hand and placed the dazzling bracelet and the resplendent Shivalinga in her hand. 73. The Vaishya man said to her, "These two items are dearer to me than my own life. Know this Shivalinga to be the Linga of truth. I have told you the true facts here." 74. Therefore, pay special attention to protect these two items from any danger or harm. If any harm befalls the Shivalinga, I shall give up my life immediately. 75. Hearing the Vaishya's words, the prostitute said, "I agree to everything you have said, O Lord. I will protect this as if it were my own life. There is no doubt in my statement." 76. Then the couple completely sat on the jump-studded dance platform. After the sun set, the prostitute asked the Vaishya man to accompany her into the inner apartments of her house. 77. The Vaishya man said, "O lady, the revered Shivalinga should not be near us when we are in the middle of sexual intercourse. You have to place the divine Shivalinga in a holy and pure spot." 78. Hearing the Vaishya's words, the prostitute agreed and placed the Shivalinga in a holy and clean spot near the middle pillar of the jump-studded dance platform. Then she entered her bedroom. 79. Both of them engaged in sexual intercourse. It was hardly a moment after she engaged in sexual activities with the Vaishya man when the dance floor caught on fire. 80. The flames spread quickly all over and the jump-studded dance platform was burned to ashes in a matter of minutes, just as a camphor burns into nothing in a matter of minutes. Seeing this, the Vaishya man began to weep and lament. 81. He said, "Alas, my Shivalinga, which was my life, has been burned to ashes." Saying this, he got ready to give up his life. The citizens of the city stopped him. They also put water on the fire and doused it completely. 82. The fire subsided. Then everyone saw the divine Shivalinga, which was burnt to cinders. The rooster and the monkey had also been burnt alive to ashes. 83. Seeing all this, the Vaishya man could not control his sorrow. He said, "My dearer than life Shivalinga has been burnt to cinders. I am therefore going to give up my life." 84. Saying this, he came out of the house. Quickly he prepared a funeral pyre with lots of wooden log and set fire to it. The pyre began blazing. 85. The Vaishya man said, "Since my Shivalinga, which represented my own life, burned to cinders, I am going to enter the funeral pyre." Saying this, he jumped into the funeral pyre. Seeing this, all the citizens of the city were both shocked and saddened. His wife, the prostitute, was astounded. 86. The prostitute who had vowed to live the life of Pativrata began to lament, "Alas, I am a sinner who killed her husband. What kind of a surprise is this that the dance platform burned down to ashes in a matter of minutes, and with it the Shivalinga burned down to cinders." 87. My lover and husband has committed self-immolation by jumping into the funeral pyre. I am a Pativrata. I will not live even for a minute without my husband. 88. Deciding thus, he invited the Brahmins and began to make preparations to perform Sahagama according to protocol. She donated several items to the Brahmins. 89. She donated her ornaments, clothes, and all her entire wealth to the Brahmins, to the Suvasinis, that is, married women. Then she set up a funeral pyre with logs of sandalwood and set it ablaze. 90. She saluted all the people who had gathered there, including her brothers and her relatives, and said, "Please give me permission to perform Sahagama. I am a Pativrata and a Sati. According to the Pativrata Dharma, I am following my husband into the funeral pyre." 91. Hearing her words, all her relatives were filled with sorrow. They said, "What is this? What has happened to your common sense? What sort of a dharma is this?" 92. Many people come to prostitute's house for sexual intercourse. There is no count to the number of people who have come to your house for the same. Then, how did this man suddenly become your husband? 93. Where is the Vaishya that you keep referring to as your husband? Where is the Shivalinga that you keep lamenting about? What dharma are you talking about? What sins are you talking about? Everything is a waste. Why are you set upon giving up your life unnecessarily? A prostitute's dharma is to sexually appease and satisfy a new man every day. 94. Many such Vaishya men come to your house previously. How can you be a Pativrata to all those men? Everyone is laughing at you now. What are you talking about? What has happened to your intellect? 95. Thus the neighbors and other relatives tried to stop her from committing Sahagama, but the prostitute did not pay heed to anybody's words. She got ready to perform Sahagama. 96. She addressed everyone present there. She said, "I had married that Vaishya man with all my heart. I had sworn my fidelity for the Vaishya man upon the divine Shivalinga and upon the sun and the moon. 97. I had also sworn upon Mother Earth that I would conduct myself as his wife for 3 complete days. According to the Dharma, I am his Pativrata wife. I am a Sati." 98. Unfortunately, my husband died. What is the point of my living now? The famous Pativrata Dharma is accepted by all the Vedas and the Shastras. 99. If a Pativrata woman performs Sahagama, then with every step she takes, she earns merits equal to that of an Ashwamedha sacrifice. There is no doubt in this. 100. Also, 21 generations of people on my parents' side and 21 generations of people from my husband's side shall attain heaven as a result of my actions. I am going to purify all of them with my actions. 101. If any person among those 42 generations of forefathers is in hell for any reason, I am going to pull them out of hell and bring them unto heaven. Thus states all the Shastras. 102. All these merits can be obtained by performing Sahagama. Life without my husband is worthless for me. Everyone in this miserable world has to die one day or the other. 103. Therefore, please give me permission. I am humbly requesting you. Saying thus, the prostitute approached the blazing pyre. She went around the pyre and happily saluted Lord Agni, the god of fire. 104. Then she meditated on the Supreme Lord and mentally saluted the sun god. She went around the funeral pyre once again and affectionately saluted Lord Agni. She prayed without any excitement in her voice. 105. Then she saluted all the Brahmins. She came near the funeral pyre and offered her body to the blazing flames. Suddenly a miracle occurred. It was amazing and astounding. 106. The Supreme Lord Shiva appeared in the middle of the funeral pyre with his 5 faces. A huge serpent served as a sacred thread. He had 10 hands in which he held a drinking vessel, a drum, and a trident among others. 107. Lord Shiva had holy bhasma smeared all over his body. Wearing matted locks of hair, he was seated upon Nandi, the divine bull. This Lord Shiva held the pious and the virtuous prostitute in his divine arms. 108. Immediately, the flames on the funeral pyre disappeared and everything became peaceful. The Supreme Lord Shiva, who is the Bhaktavatsala, that is the friend of the devotees, looked pleased with the devotion of the prostitute. 109. Lord Shiva held the prostitute in his hand and said to her, O lady, I am pleased with you. Ask me any boon that you want. 110. I came to your house to test you. I came in the guise of the Vaishya man to see and test your truthfulness, your dharma, and your courage. 111. I, the Supreme Lord Shiva, was the Vaishya man. That linga was me as well. That fire was illusory and was created by me. The fire in the dance platform is illusory as well. 112. I created the fires and entered the funeral pyre as the Vaishya man in order to test your truthfulness, your mental fortitude, and your courage. You have conducted yourself just as you said you would. You are indeed a Pativrata. 113. I am very pleased with your devotion. Ask me any boon that you want, and I will grant it. Ask for long life, immense wealth, good health, and anything else you want. 114. Then the prostitute said, O Lord Shiva, O Supreme Master, I do not want those items of pleasure that will lead to arrogance and pride on this earth, in the heavens, and in the nether regions. I do not want those items of pleasure that will lead one to the sufferings of hell. 115. I want to be a bee at your lotus feet always. May my relatives and friends always have true devotion at your lotus feet, and may they always be near you. 116. May all my servants and maids attain heaven. O Lord of the universe, O Pashupati, that is Lord of all animals, O Lord, I always want to be with you. 117. Please rescue us from the bondage of this illusory world. I do not want rebirth on this earth. Saying thus, she held the feet of the Supreme Lord. 118. Pleased with her request, Lord Shiva removed the bondages that bound her to this world and blessed all of them to attain heaven at once. 119. Maharshi Parashara continued, O King Bhadrasena, you should remember that the rooster and the monkey that the prostitute had tied to the dance platform were decorated with Rudraaksha beads. Both animals were burnt in the fire. 120. Let me tell you what happened to the two of them. Listen, the monkey achieved immense merits because of the Rudraaksha. When it was burnt in the fire, it abandoned its monkey-like qualities and was reborn as your son, the prince. 121. The rooster, which also perished in the fire, was reborn as the minister's son. The power of the Rudraaksha beads thus helped these lowly animals to be reborn as royal sons. 122. Both of them have been born here as a result of merits from their previous lifetime. Both boys are scholars and ardent devotees of Lord Shiva. There is no doubt in this. 123. In their previous life, they were wearing the divine Rudraaksha beads out of ignorance. As a monkey and a rooster, they did not know anything about the Rudraaksha. But it is because of those merits from that lifetime that they are born in the royal household now. 124. In this life, both boys are treading the path of knowledge and enlightenment. They are intentionally always wearing the Rudraaksha rosaries in this lifetime. The merits that they are obtaining now as a result of the Rudraksha they are wearing are infinite and unsurpassed. 125. The Supreme Guru said to the couple Datta and Sumati, Maharshi Parashara thus narrated to King Bhadrasena the story of the previous lifetime of the two boys. 126. Hearing the words of Maharshi Parashara, the king Bhadrasena prostrated himself before the sage and humbly asked him to continue with the rest of the story. 127. Guru Siddha said, O Namadharaka, I shall continue the story. That story is unique and extremely significant. Pay attention and listen. 128. Thus Gangadhara Saraswati tells the story of Sri Guru Charitra. Who listens to this great legend with profound devotion shall attain all the four Purushastras, that is pursuits of life. That is Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. Thus ends chapter 33 in the Karma Kanda in the dialogue between Guru Siddha and Namadharaka in the text known as the Legend of Narasimha Saraswati, authored by Gangadhara Saraswati in the Marathi language as Sri Guru Charitra and referred to as Sri Guru Samhita, composed in the Sanskrit language by His Holiness Sri Vasudevananda Saraswati. Om Tat Sat. Mantrahina, Kriyahina, Bhaktihina, Kshamapate. Om Sri Krishnarpanamastu.